Nii, tere hommikust kõigile, kes on ekraanide ette kogunenud. Tere tulemast meie järgmisele Saksa sihtturu veebinarile võimalused ja väljakutsed e-kaubanduses, seekord siis Saksamaal Eesti ettevõtjatele. Mul on väga hea meel, et see veebinar võimalikuks sai. Ma arvan, et tegemist on väga põneva teemaga. Ja meil oli minu hea kolleeg septembris tegi juba sissejuhatuse sellele teemale, kui meil oli veebinar siis Otto, ühe suurima internetihiiu suuruselt teise Saksa turu e-kaubandusettevõttega, mis oli väga inspireeriv. Ja seekord me tahame siis rohkem vaadata natuke konkreetsemalt võimalusi, mida võiks see turg pakkuda ka Eesti ettevõtjatele. Viimastel ajal on seal toimunud suur areng ja eriti muidugi seoses pandeemiaga. Aga Saksa turg on ka väga spetsiifiline, sellest me varsti kuulame rohkem. Ja siis vaatame ka pikemalt, natuke põhjalikumalt, missugused strateegiad oleksid võimalikud, kuidas oleks võimalik selle Saksa turule siseneda. Ja lõpuks vaatame ka ühe Eesti ettevõtte näidet. Aga nüüd ma lähen üle inglise keelele. Meie tänane webinar on inglise keeles ja jätkame siis inglise keeles. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our online seminar, Challenges and Opportunities of the German e-commerce market for Estonian exporting companies. My name is Leana Kammertrans. I'm an export advisor of Enterprise Estonia in Germany. I would now like to welcome our speakers. We have Ralf Hübner at the screen from Munich. Herzlich willkommen, Herr Hübner. Schön, dass Sie da sind.
Danke.
Winken Sie einmal.
Danke. Guten Morgen. Good morning.
Dann haben wir Herrn Martin Sperling aus Berlin zugeschaltet.
Morning. Hello, good morning.
Schön, dass Sie da sind. Und dann, ja, und Annelies Theisen aus Köln, die ist noch nicht in der Leitung, aber die kommt gleich. So let me, so a short view on our program. Mr. Hübner will start with an overview about the development of German e-commerce market. We will see what are the specialities of the German e-commerce market, what are the developments in the last time, in the last years, and what are the trends. So I think it will be very interesting for us to hear. Mr. Hübner has worked as a manager and strategy consultant for the German tech industry for more than 20 years. So he has a lot of experience in this field to share with us. After that, we will hear some more details, a little bit more about strategies. We want to know what are the possible strategies for a successful market entry. How to plan it, what are the important key factors, what are the things you have to think about, but also, yeah, which channels can be used, which logistics solutions, and so on and so on. And there we have another expert, our expert Martin Sperling, whose everyday business is to support the companies to run their e-commerce projects from planning to implementation. So we are very happy to have you here. And our last presentation is Annelies Theisen from Öselstuff OÜ. It's a very nice practice case because they have entered the German market some years ago, and they sell a special product which is really a Estonian product. I think the Germans don't know this product at all. Or Mr. Hübner, you are laughing. Birch water. So you have to try it. It's really great. And yes, Öselstuff has become a lot of media attention because of this unusual product. And I find it's really a challenge to bring such a product to Germany. It's respect. So we'll hear some things about their experience, how they have managed until now on German market, and which are the most important things from their perspective that you have to think about it. How, what are the suggestions for you? So this is our program, and now some more things about organization. You have the possibility to ask your questions. Therefore, we have the chat where you can post them. So we have about 5 minutes after each presentation where you can ask questions about understanding or anything else, some comments. But we will have also some time at the end of the webinar where we can discuss. Another thing, we will record this webinar, so you have the chance to look at it once more, also after the webinar, or if you have to leave earlier. And then the last thing, you will also get the presentations sent from me because our speakers have agreed to provide us their presentations after the webinar. Thank you very much for that. But now we can start, and I am glad to give you the screen, Mr. Hübner. So here are my contact details if you have some questions to me, but you know where you can find me. So I go out of the screen now and leave you the screen, Mr. Hübner. Are you ready to start?
Sure.
Great.
Leana, hi Martin. I'm sharing my screen now. Please let me know whether you can see my screen. It's up and running?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hi everybody. I've never been to Estonia, so I got my first 5-minute lessons in Estonian language just a couple of minutes ago from Leana. I would really love to visit the Baltic states in Estonia. And I also have to say sorry right now that I'm telling you now a lot of things about this digital Stone Age country, Germany. As I learned from my little research, Estonia is really ahead of Germany in many things regarding e-commerce and digital business, and also digital government. I knew that from some newspapers articles, but really interesting. And I think it's the right time for you guys to check whether Germany is the right market. I'm mentioning this because this is not in my presentation, but one of my favorite things to discuss over the last 12 months is this new, we call it D2C brands, direct brands business. And the Germans learned over the last years that the former retailers they always used to visit are changing. Also, they're a bit fed up with the marketing promises from the old brands, and they're willing to test new stuff. They're willing to test new stuff because they learned to purchase on Amazon, new products, new brands from abroad, and also via social media, via Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. So besides all the hurdles Martin will speak more about, and also Anna from her life experience regarding technology and customs and stuff, the market is ready for international products from all over the world, more than ever before. It's not like a locked up market Germany has been for years, where French companies, other American companies always said Germany is like the toughest market in Europe to enter. So I think it's the right timing to start thinking about Germany. Just a few words about me. Leana told you already that I'm in this e-commerce market and digital market and strategy market for about 2 decades. I'm writing books if I have time, also about Amazon, because it's one of the biggest things in Germany to understand if you want to do e-commerce, We also do market surveys, especially about the marketplaces, platforms, marketplaces. Over the last 2 years, I invite you to download our reports there for free. We at Ecom Consulting do basically everything a company, mainly manufacturers, brands, need to start e-commerce, do digital business, do the digital transformation, or become better. No ad show here. This is it. Just a few logos so you know with whom we're working with. Also with Martin, for instance, we're working. I love B2B e-commerce a lot. I don't know where you're coming from. I'll ask you in a few seconds. So the agenda for these 25 to 30 minutes is a few questions for you, just to let us speakers know a little bit more about who we're talking to. Then I give you a few facts, figures, specialties, German market at a glance, and then I would like to discuss the digital sales channels for you to use, and as the spotlight, the marketplaces and the price comparison platforms, which are dominating in Germany, which is good and bad, of course. And then I will end with a few recommendations from my point of view before I hand over to Martin, who will give you more detailed picture on how to do it in daily practice. Thanks for sending some questions up front. I try to tackle a few of them. Maybe Anne can tackle the food supplement question because she's doing that. But I can also tell you right now, Amazon is great for food supplements, but there are also some special online retailers open for new suppliers. So yes, there is a market for food supplements. It's a big market. It's a growing market. Fashion, luxury, I will tackle. Regulations regarding beer and shipping. I'm not an expert. Maybe there will be another legal session to discuss, because legal aspects are very critical in Germany. You know, you guys are very strict. We followed the GDPR more than probably necessary. So yes, important thing. And as for the payment solutions, I don't know, and the providers, Martin maybe can give you some hints about what to use and how to do that. More questions, please follow Leana's instructions and use the tool today, or send me questions afterwards. I'm happy to help if I can. A few questions up front. I'm pretty sure you know the tool Mentimeter. I think it's from Scandinavia, but I learned from Leana that you used it as well. And Leana has to help me whether you see the screen, the Mentimeter screen. Okay, thanks. So please use your smartphone and type in menti.com and use the code as shown on the screen, 5002399. And Leana, I would like to ask you to do the same, just to make sure everything is working. Oh, cool, it is working. Okay, so are you a manufacturer, a retailer, a marketplace retailer, means selling on Amazon, or a service provider, be it software? I would call Leana a service provider. She's helping you to do business in Germany. Leana, you're mute, just in case you're saying something. Yeah.
So everything is working, I see.
Yeah, it is. We're up to 20. I haven't checked the attendance rate before starting this tool, so give you another 10 seconds, and then is 23 or whatever the threshold for the next questions. Okay, that's very important for us to understand that whether you're owner of a brand, produce products where you can customize products, or whether you just deal with products you get from other suppliers, which limits, of course, some innovation spectrum to do business. Okay, and 30% service providers, a lot of competitors of mine, I hope. Just kidding. I know there are some e-commerce service providers, and they're very important. There are a lot of in Germany too, very helpful for companies from abroad. Okay, so we have 27 responses. Predominantly manufacturers with own brand want to enter, hopefully want to enter the German market. And next questions. I explained what I want to know here. Are you familiar with web shop business, how to set up a web shop? Are you familiar with the marketplaces, how to do business on eBay and Amazon, and Amazon specific? Are you an expert? Do you have experience? And then type in yes. You have multiple choices here, and counting from a 27 in total.
We have 48 participants.
Okay. Maybe if you have difficulties to use Menti, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I hear it, but usually it's a good tool. Okay, so the majority knows how to do web shop business. That's good. That's good. Like in percentage, I would say 90% of the people voting now are saying we know how web shop business works. That's good, Martin, for you. Okay, but less experience, less knowledge for marketplaces. Okay, social media. Okay.
And cross-border commerce too.
Cross-border, yeah, never done. I mean, of course, this is why we're talking. Marketplace know-how and social media know-how is probably the most important thing, or one of the most important things to start business in Germany, because they're so dominant. I will tell you in a few minutes in some facts and figures relations. Okay, good. Last question for now. What are your plans for Germany? Did you enter the market already, even if just with some tiny chunk, or is it your plan to do that next year, or maybe in the future? It depends on how attractive and difficult the German market is. So it looks like, Liana, you have another 4 or 5 best practice cases in the room. You can contact.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Next webinar. Okay, now it works. 28. Thanks. I think it's also interesting for you in the audience to understand who's sitting virtually next to you. Okay, so 15, which is 50% of the audience wants to do e-commerce or enter the German market next year. That's good to know. And I think, as I said in the beginning, it is the right timing. It is the right timing, absolutely. So we overcame the questions. Some basic facts and figures to start with. I know you can read, I know you can check Wikipedia, and maybe you can also, you're capable of speaking German and can read yourself. So I'm going, I'll walk you through this pretty quickly now. What I learned about Estonia in a little comparison to Germany, though, is interesting. You have over 5,000 e-stores, they call it e-stores in the report, in Europe report. In Estonia, we have 120,000 B2C web shops, e-stores in Germany, just to get a glimpse here. 98% of the Estonians aged 16 to 74 use the internet. We're behind. More than 80% penetration in e-commerce, pretty much the same we have. As for buying patterns in verticals and products, pretty much the same. Travel, accommodation service, of course, and then clothing, sports. We are the Zalando country, so and consumer electronics. So, but no big difference here. 80% of the people using e-commerce bought their goods from Estonian sellers. So that's a lot. That surprised me. That surprised me a lot because you're a small country and it looks like you're getting almost everything in Estonia what you need. In Germany, we're accustomed to buy from other countries. 75% are from German sellers. Don't ask me whether the figure is correct regarding Amazon, because on German Amazon, 30% of the sellers do not stem from Germany, but from mainly China, and then from other countries, France, UK. So coming to the last two figures in comparison, Estonia versus Germany. In 2019, post and online retail, so I'd say online retail, grew by 26%, and the retail overall 6%. German retail overall grew last year, I think 1% or 2%, so there's basically no growth in retail, in brick and mortar retail. In Germany, we only have growth rates of 8 to 9%. Due to the Corona effect in 2020, it will be above 10, but we're lower here. And proportion of postal or online, the penetration of e-commerce online on total retail in Estonia is 20%. That's really high, and we're far behind. We're like half the size percentage-wise, so it's 10 to 11%. Have to double check next year when Corona maybe boosted us to a next level. So just as a first glimpse. In Europe, Germany is only second because UK is leading. You can see it. Sorry for using here data in dollar. I think you can calculate easily. So UK is really ahead, is more advanced in e-commerce than Germany. But when you look at the buying patterns for product groups, we're pretty similar with the other countries. So we have Germany here, the Nordic regions you're probably more familiar with or very familiar with since you're bordering these countries more or less, Sweden, Finland, and so on. You have UK, France. We're pretty much just buying the same things, except for food. On food, we're behind, especially in UK. Sorry, that was too quick. A little bit also on sport, but food was the big difference. The UK market in food is very developed already, and in Germany, we have to catch up here. Sorry for the ugly slide I used from my favorite institute in Germany, and they don't have it in English. It's the EFH Köln, I think the best data source in Germany. B2B, I'm talking about B2C now mainly. B2B is the more interesting thing to me, and it's way bigger, and it has way more to catch up. There are better margins and so on. So if you're a B2B company, if you're not selling to the end consumer, but to professional users, B2B is very interesting also because the marketplace world in B2B is only starting now. So here the figures, 1,300 billions in comparison to 57 billion e-commerce size in Germany last year. I mean, discussion whether it's 52 and if you count this in or not. So let's say something between a 50 and a 60 billion euro market in Germany is B2C. When we're talking about growth projections, what do we expect? These are the projections before Corona kicked in. So these are the figures from eMarketer in May 2019. And as you see, the growth rates change. Were rather low. We're down from 11%, if I recall correctly. Estonia was 20%. They told us we'll be down to 4%. So a mature, saturated market in Germany already. As for B2C, not B2B, growth margins in B2B are 20%, 15%, depends on the vertical. So, but and we're reaching here a 10% share e-commerce of the total market in retail. So that was the projection overall. And then if you look at the verticals, of course, sorry for different figures here. This is the comparison 2020 projection with 2017. Not so far behind, 2 years, 2.5 years. You see interesting, attractive growth rates in basically all verticals. A few more to gain share, like food, like I mentioned. And now we had the Corona effect plus the craziness on the stock markets, on the M&A markets, with probably HelloFresh cases, all these food delivery and meal kits you heard. So the Germans learn to buy food now. I'm mentioning this because when they buy food online, the delivery system from Rewe, the major, one of the biggest retailer, developed a lot. And these guys, also nice startups like Picnic coming from the Netherlands, bringing food to your house every day in a very nice and friendly manner. They can also bring other products. It's not only Amazon. So that's why the food thing is important, although it's a very tiny market in the e-commerce still. Okay, so what about Germany and e-commerce? Forgive me that I'm now saying of 100% channel preference. Where do people want to buy? In Germany, we were still at something like 10% they prefer to buy online. A few were like, okay, I buy online, but a few products, but other products I want to go to a physical store. And still, the Germans love to go to brick and mortar, normal stores. So then we had this phase in March and April, partly till May, where they must buy online, and they learned the lesson. Right? The only thing was there were click and collect solutions. They could order stuff and pick it up in the store. So second phase we're still in, currently partly locked down in Germany, as you probably know. They can buy online if they wear masks and keep distance. So this is why online is up, still up. But what will happen afterwards? And this is the interesting part. I don't know when Corona and all the regulations in effect right now will end, hopefully soon, but we're pretty sure, and all the institutes and forecasters say that there will remain a bigger part of people who want to buy online because they can, because the service is okay now. If you know, Americans always say Germany is a service desert. Service is terrible in Germany. People are grim, and all these prejudices about Germany. But this will change the market, and this is of course very helpful for you because people are willing to try new stuff to buy online, as long as, of course, as long as you fulfill the needs and requirements from German buyers regarding delivery quality and also some negative aspects I will talk about in a few minutes, free returns, free shipping, and so on. Okay, so understanding the German market a little bit better, and that's my favorite slide here. I did for a cosmetic brand actually from abroad. So we have the big guys effects in Germany. Amazon, I'm pretty sure Zalando, fashion, but they're also entered the home and living market a bit. They're doing cosmetics, they're doing sport. $1 billion company, $1 billion turnover, more than $1 billion turnover in Germany. So pretty relevant. And then we have Idealo next to Check24, one of the big price comparison platforms. And these companies stand now for a couple of others, but these big guys created some effects. They changed the behavior of Germans more than in other countries. We have because the German retailers fell asleep 20 years ago and they didn't realize what Amazon is doing. So we have a very high reach, a very strong market dominance of Amazon, like in no other country, in Europe. We have these are the figures from last year from Amazon, because there was an investigation going on from the European Cartel Office and German Cartel Office. Amazon for the first time had to disclose the figures. So now it's not rumors anymore, but real figures. 37 million buyers on Amazon in Germany, 7 million from outside Germany, a lot from Austria. Austria has no Amazon of its own. So when you work on Amazon, you're serving Austria as well, pretty easily, just as an information. 40% of the market share in e-commerce sits at Amazon, roughly. Depends, of course, on vertical, but 40% of the German e-commerce is Amazon. Terrible for a few retailers, other retailers, big chance for sellers like you if you want to use Amazon. Yeah, a lot of pros and cons here. Second, marketplace trends. Amazon is a marketplace. Amazon used to be a normal retailer, became a marketplace. Zalando started as a retailer, became a marketplace. You can sell on Amazon now, on Zalando, sorry. Same with Idealo. It's not only a price comparison platform, but you can sell on Idealo. And I'll tell you later, we're having more than 200 marketplaces. That's a mistake. That's my mistake. I'm not talking about 200 in Germany, but in the DACH region, in the German-speaking region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland. More than 200 marketplaces to use. Very special marketplaces. I saw already, Anna will talk about a very special marketplace like for sustainable products, but don't want to steal Anna's show. Price comparison as the standard journey for Germans. The Germans learned in their Aldi and Lidl to save money. Buy billig. I know a word you don't know. It doesn't exist in English. I don't know, Liana, whether billig in Geiz ist geil, whether billig exists in Estonian. But very important. And just so you know, Amazon uses and pays Idealo a lot. Amazon is on Idealo list and is paying for the traffic. Yeah? Amazon has to use Idealo. People sometimes do not understand these connections. Do you know billig? What is billig?
Odav.
Okay, it exists. Other languages I speak, billig doesn't exist. French, Italian.
Doch, das gibt es in Estnisch.
Okay.
Odav.
So
aber wir bevorzugen zu nutzen günstig. Das ist so ein bisschen.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, smart shopping. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Speeding up. Last few things. Free shopping, free returns. Established by Zalando. Still there as a fact. Very high return rates. We have an average more than 6% in Germany, whereas the average in Europe is 3.8. That's half the return rates. People are used to send things back for free. We have like fashion and other verticals where return rates of 40, 50, 60% are standard. The Germans return the stuff. They order 5 products and return 4, 5, or 6. So that's bad. And plus another specialty aspects about Germany. I would recommend you to start or check social commerce, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. It's the smarter way. Most companies don't do it. They don't know how to do it. It's cheaper. You reach different target groups. Very interesting. And second thing, as I mentioned before, the Germans are very risk averse and picky. That accounts for the fear of fake shops, counterfeits. They're very picky regarding delivery quality, and same day delivery or next day delivery is also an Amazon effect. I forgot to mention here. And then they're very picky with language and spelling. So this is really, really a critical thing. So what channels to start with? From my very generic perspective, since I don't know what products you want to bring to the German market, there's always the question: distributor, wholesale you want to use, or you want to go direct to consumer yourself. If you use distributor and wholesale, of course, there is the option of real retail or point of interest or point of experience where the product can be seen, checked, and so on. But we're talking about the digital sales channels now. And Martin will tell you more about the platform questions. They're easy and smart and cheap ways to start your own e-commerce in comparison to 5 years ago. There are online retailers. As you can see, this is for the cosmetics and fashion industry now a little bit. If you know some of the brands, there's the social commerce option. I also added TikTok, though still not so easy to do real commerce with. And question, of course, how they will survive after America has decided here and there, you know what I mean? But it's a marketplace world. Germany is a marketplace world, and we have not only the big and famous marketplaces, Amazon, eBay, from a global perspective, but we have a lot of other marketplaces, marketplaces as started from scratch, but also a lot of former retailers who first went online and then became marketplaces and now allow more or less, as you know, Otto isn't only allowing German companies, in Germany set up companies to sell there. Same accounts for others, but that will change sooner or later, or there are ways to enter a marketplace with some help from Germany or German partners. So I would always recommend to check the marketplaces in social commerce. Few words, few figures, price comparisons, very important, very important. Roughly 42 million visits per month. Spelling mistake here, as the Germans are very critical, I see, at Idealo in Germany. Just to compare, in the UK and France, the highest numbers for price comparison sites, 2.7 million visits or 3.7 million. So Germany is comparing. Idealo is really a gateway to the consumer. And then in perspective, Idealo, that's a quarter, that's not a month now, a quarter, Q2, quarter 2, 2019, 109 million visits. That's almost like 75% of a retailer like Otto, the former biggest retailer in Germany, online retailer, now third or second, and way more than Zalando. So just you get the picture. So I would say it's not a marketplace world. I'm not singing now the song I'm referring to, you know what I mean, but it's an Amazon world. Amazon is dominating the German market. Here are a few figures about the 10 shops from last year and the market shares in verticals of total e-commerce in Germany. So this is really huge. Of course, there's a lot of competition. That's not easy. It's not like you just onboard Amazon and then you start selling. You have to know some things and you have to have some help. And I'm inviting you to download our shorter version of the big online marketplaces study we conducted last year and early this year. You find the link just for you as an orientation. How many marketplaces do we have worldwide? We have 500 companies with 1,000 domains like amazon.com.de for Germany, UK. A lot of changes. Every day, Rakuten pulled out of the German market. Real has been acquired by the Schwarz Lidl group. Oracle is maybe now acquired by TikTok, and so on. There's a lot of things going on. We divide 5 different marketplace groups: B2C, B2B, C2C, second-hand business in the middle, social and content commerce. I don't have to explain, I think, further. And price comparison, very important, very interesting in Germany. DACH region, Germany. This was the map in 2015, and this is the map in January this year. So you can understand what I mean when I say it's a marketplace world. Great chance for you. Retailers probably don't like it so much because the marketplaces are eating up the market shares. But if you want to sell, you can find your marketplace with your target group and so on, 200. There are more formats of marketplaces coming up like every week because Silicon Valley is investing and so on. Happy to discuss that with you in another session if we have maybe a marketplace only session. And then also about live shopping where you can explain your Estonian products very well. I think that's important. It's also good for you to show your personality, the identity of your product, but also of the founder. People love to see that, not only on social media, but on other platforms as well. Amazon is moving towards this too, because they're losing market share to Facebook and others in this space. Summary and recommendation from my point of view for you as an Estonian company looking at Germany. I think the market is big and growing. It's big enough. And it offers you good market entry infrastructure. You can really enter this market. It's not like the jungle, although we're behind you, I know. And sometimes things get more difficult and we have more bureaucracy, but it's an interesting market. I recommend you to check how your vertical and niche is doing in Germany, on Google, on Amazon, on Real as an interesting marketplace to start, less competition, also on eBay. you might want to check whether you want to register your brand in the Amazon brand protection service, Amazon brand service, as an important thing. So no one else can sell your products and mistreat your brand. That's for free on Amazon. If you don't know, brand protection on Amazon is for free. And then you get a lot of data. Very important hint here, you get data for free from Amazon if you registered your brand there. Then check which marketplaces besides Amazon match your target group and product pricing. Social media an option? Do you have the capacity for that? Do you have some influencer options? Do it. Do you have enough firepower for your own web shop? That's the marketing question also a lot. And then the logistics solutions at hand. Performance matters in Germany logistics because, as I explained, of the return rates and the costs. I think the average cost per return to handle that is 10 euros. So do the math. I think not difficult calculation here. Last thing, make sure you have native German language skills in your team setup. English, unfortunately, doesn't do it. In the Netherlands, English does it. In Scandinavia, English does it. In Germany, no. That's from my side. Questions, happy to answer now or later, probably later, and get back to you when Lerna asks me to ask you another question.
So thank you very much, Mr. Hübner, for this very, very interesting insight into the German e-commerce. I've learned a lot of things. I didn't know too about price comparison in Germany. It's so important, or some other things, very, very much useful information, I think, for our companies. We don't have any questions until now. I think they were all so banned, and and it was so many information. I guess the questions will come later. Oh, we have one question.
I'll throw it on.
I have one question. Yes. They come now. So I'll read. If you sell B2B, what are the best incentives for German companies? Do they like bonuses or discounts, etc.?
Sure, everybody likes to buy cheap, but I think in Germany, B2B, quality certificates, proven track record is more important. Innovations in B2B. Of course, pricing has to be
yes.
right, but since, you know, this price comparison world exists in B2C, but it's not there in B2B.
Okay.
At least not in B2C. So price comparison means for a buyer as a persona, I have to check a lot of websites, call up people, compare. So I would say services like hotline, chat functions to explain your product is more important than start with rebates or bonuses. Martin, correct?
In B2B.
No, right. Maybe it's. I think it's also important to have a delivery time which is for secure. So it's an important point.
Yeah.
So these things are more important as bonuses. Okay, and then another question: which marketplaces are best for health and food supplements?
Funny as it is, Otto can't deal with food products because they can't handle the best before attitude. Still, I'm not making fun of Otto, but for sure it's Amazon, it's Real, DE, and it's Otto as for the marketplaces. But then it depends which kind of food supplements and health products, because there are a lot of niche players, experts in this market who do the customer journey way better than the everything store Amazon, you know, where food supplement has the same product display stage like a sex toy, you know, but you have to explain it differently.
Yes.
I would always check niche experts, niche players, and there are a few.
Okay. With Otto, what do you think? How long will it take that Otto will accept foreign foreign companies too as on his marketplace?
I wouldn't expect them to open for foreign sellers for the next 3 to 4 years. But
okay.
I know that there are a lot of service companies offering detours already. So they will rent out German GmbH or companies for foreign sellers to then sell through them. Because Otto is no racist company, you know. But Otto wants to ensure that people are companies, suppliers are working according to German law. That's their point.
Yes,
so,
yes.
If you, Otto is interesting for a few product groups, very interesting, definitely second to Amazon in the market. If you want to do that, you can hire German structures.
Okay.
Market Supply, for instance, Market Supply is a company, or Hey Connect from Fige. There are companies giving you the chance to sell through.
Service providers who enable you to go to Otto, to sell on Otto. Okay, thank you. And the last question, how do you describe the B2B environment in terms of the nature of the people? If you enter into a business partnership, should you be more laid back or conservative? Does it take long time to decide for the big corporations, much bureaucracy, or is the decisive power more flat? Oh, there are many questions.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Bureaucracy levels are high.
Yeah.
And then the question is whether the product sits in a vertical with a lot of security standards. Germany is a security company. You know, you can have governance checks and for everything. You know, we invented the TÜV and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
They have to make their money, you know. No, just kidding. B2B is a different case, and that's why I find it so interesting. You have to think a little bit more about your potential clients and how to serve them, whereas B2C is rather simple. Just throw your products on marketplaces and then check who is buying, who is checking your product. B2B needs a little bit more strategy development up front. So sorry for without the vertical, I can't help here.
Okay. I think Martin can maybe say some words about these things too. We have to go on now, so otherwise we run out of the time. Thank you very much for your presentation. And Martin, the stage is yours.
Yeah, okay. So let's say a few words about the how-tos, how to come into the market. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Ralf, for this very interesting overview. And my point is more to show you it's less the strategic points. It's more the I look at the different sales channels, and I have a few examples how to go into this, or how to deliver this sales channels. For example, what you have to do if you want to sell on a German marketplace or with your online shop. Maybe you have to create or found a German online shop, or at least German language. Or let's go through the points, and I will start first a few words to me. I consulting, and my main point or my core competence is planning and executing projects, which means implementation of shop systems, connection to other systems, ERP systems, PIM systems, CRM systems. It's more the technical point and the technical doing. First thing I wanted to talk about is the German mentality. So you want to sell on the German market, and I think it's the first thing is not a technical view. It's just to have an idea about who are your customers, especially if you buy directly to consumers. So I want to talk a little bit more about B2C than B2B. And therefore, it's important, as far as I think, to know the German consumer, how they think. And as Ralph said, we have a little bit less affinity for new technologies, especially online technologies. So the Germans are a little bit fussy, or maybe a little bit anxious. How I claim this, why I claim this. I'll give you a few examples. This is the inclusive internet. It's by the Economist, yearly survey. And we are here, as you can see, it's from the latest from 2020, and we are place 18. And for example, Estonia is on place 12, so it's much better. This belongs to the internet infrastructure. Accessibility, prices, and using of online and internet technologies. But there's another point, we are better, and this is the point, logistics. And if you compare Germany to Estonia, I was astonished that you have much less people living on 1 square kilometer, for example. It's 10 times more people in Germany. So maybe that's the reason why we have more streets and and better logistics, because we just more people on sharing one square. Germans are a little bit fussy with online payment, so they don't like to give their credit card number. I think it's a difference to other markets where people have no problem with that. They still like invoice. It's common. It's like I think this is from 2019, a survey. So yeah, PayPal is maybe thing that's global, and Germans trust PayPal. Don't know why, because they don't trust credit cards in online shopping. And yeah, that's one specialty. They like certificates, like Ralph also said, like TÜV and things that are very, very common in German, and it's good to have a certificate. The most popular is trusted shops, and I just recommend to have it in your shop. It's the technical implementation is really simple. The GDPR, I will have some words about the GDPR. The Germans take it very serious, and it's a good advice for you to also take it very serious. We'll just give an overview. I mean, I'm not a lawyer or something. You have maybe you have to have legal advice, but there are a few of the main points. I can show you the main points later. And another point is the Germans, as I said, they're a little bit fussy or anxious. They trust they have to have reviews, that I have to have the opinion of other people. That's important also. So it's the same. It's if you have an own online shop, it's relatively easy to implement. So just my advice: implement it. And it's also better for your Google search engine optimization to have reviews you can show there. Abmahnung is a special German thing. You have lawyers, they check websites if they according to the GDPR, if all the legal information is on the website, and then you have to pay to that they don't take you to court or something. It's I think, as far as I know, it's a German specialty. Abmahnanwälte. They, yeah, we don't like them in online business. Yeah, they do screenshots of your website if they find that you have no consent manager or something. You get a letter and you have to pay some money. Germans trust German shops. They buy a lot from abroad, on Amazon, for example. But if you have your own online shop, this is a survey European Commission can't read, I think from 2019. They trust German online shops more than international online shops. So let's see later what consequences this have, or what can you do with this information. And the Germans like return management, as Ralph said before. You see, depends on which survey. You see different numbers here. And important is that it's not all over all kind of products or product groups. It's more clothing. Germans used to buy 2 or 3 sizes and try them on and send 2 of the products back. So it's very common, but it's not all over all product groups the same. For example, furniture, they don't like to send them back. Yeah, so but it's a point. You have to deal with it, and so it's one point that maybe it's good to have a German fulfillment partner or a German logistics partner. German language, as Ralph said before. Okay, you have to have German language in your online shop, or your product descriptions, etc. We're not used like, I read that Estonian people watch TV from Finland, or they can talk or they understand because the languages are similar or something. We don't have something like that. We don't look movies in original language or something. It's all in German. And it's a point of trust. So I come to the learnings from this. What could be the learnings from this? Always take the customer perspective, and one really important thing is create trust. So in different ways and different possibilities to create trust. Yeah, offer your products in German language. It's good to have trust. How can you reach trust? Communication in German, transparent communication. And this is true for all your channels, for a marketplace or for online shop or for social shopping, for all your channels. Okay, let's see. Let's go a little bit more inside the channels. You did your strategy, maybe with the help of Ralph, which for my target groups, my products, for my the size of my company, my possibilities, what are the right sales channels. You have to have a strategy, and mostly it's a mix of different sales channels. Or you start with one, you start selling on marketplace, and then you build your own online shop, and then you have your social shopping. So normally it's a mix, and you have different sales channels. Despite of this, it's a question for all sales channels where you sell your products. Is the question one of the questions you start for, or you have to tell yourself to have the to be technical and able to sell to other countries is what part of your assortment you want to offer. Or maybe there are some products you're not allowed to sell in Germany, or maybe there are some product groups that sell much better in Germany than in Estonia. So you have to have a strategy about your assortment. It's one of the first questions you tell yourself. Then the point of VAT registration. It's more bureaucracy in Germany, that's true. But on the other hand, it's doable. So others did it, and you can also handle it. It's a relatively simple thing because we both countries in the EU, and that's a great advantage. And there are rules you can read on the websites of the European community or on the customs of the different countries to get all this information. And a simple rule is, which makes it easy to start to sell to Germany. It's you have a threshold, and if you're under this threshold of, it's for Germany, it's 100,000 euros yearly. So if you are under the threshold and you sell goods to Germany under this threshold, you have to take the Estonian VAT. So, and you pay the VAT in Estonia. The thresholds for every country in the EU is different, but it's if you're under this thresholds, you just pay your VAT. You have to collect the VAT when you sell, and you have to pay it in Estonia. And if you're over the threshold, you have to register for Germany and pay the VAT with the German VAT tax rate, which is 19%. I think in Estonia is 20%, as far as I know. So that's a relatively simple rule. You get all the information on the website of the European community, and all this for every country you can see these thresholds here. I want to show you, which I like, and which is my topic, is the shop systems. I'm just a short insight of how you do the setup for in the shop system here. For example, Shopify. You just do the setup like you have 180 countries, and you pick the EU countries, and you say, okay, you collect the VAT for this country, and you can just set the amount. It's 60% for Germany if you're over this threshold. Otherwise, it's 20% because you pay it in Estonia. So in the shop, another shop system, it's very similar. You have the global VAT, which is 20% in Estonia, and then you have for each country, or even for each region, which is more interesting for the USA, for example, but you can fill out the VAT percentage here, or you can have countries, for example, Switzerland, where it's not in the EU, so you don't collect the VAT if you sell to Switzerland. A question you have is or you come to the point if you grow your business in Germany, maybe not from the start on, but you will come to the point to have the question, have an office in Germany, or have a business location in Germany, or have partners in Germany. There are some fulfillment and logistic partners who offers services not only delivering your products and warehousing, but also services like they do all this custom service for you, or even they act like a distributor, and you store your products in Germany and then you sell from Germany, and then it's you have other conditions, and they do the tax registration for you and things like that. Just a few, and it's a good idea to just ask them where the services is. I mean, the most important or well known is DHL in Germany. DHL fulfillment. They offer a lot of services, which is more than just fulfillment. Even some offer customer service. People, German native speakers, they do your customer service. This could be very helpful. So anyway, if you start to sell in the German market, it's, I think, a good idea from the beginning or very early on to have a logistic partner. Maybe you have an agency. They have even more, they do more services for you. They not really logistic partners, they could be, but they just help you with all this bureaucracy in Germany to found the German local office and get do the VAT registrations, tax registrations, do the accounting for you in Germany, all the bureaucracy, and have an office or virtual office in Germany, contact persons that speaks German, and yeah, just I found only one or two, but I think that there must be some more that serve this services. E-commerce setup. Let's go into the more technical view, and let's have a look on your e-commerce system. That is, for most of you, as we saw in this Mentee survey, already existing. So a lot of you have had an online shop already or have experiences with. And let's say this is a simple, a simplified graphic about what you need to do e-commerce. And let's start with the marketplace. You have marketplaces, but not only marketplaces, also social shopping, for example, this important price comparison portals. At least what you have to do is to have a new local marketplace site. If you already use Amazon, you just have to add a new local marketplace site, which is good described on Amazon, and there's really good information there how you do this. Or maybe you need another marketplace. Your CMS system, at least you need another language, German, or one more language for your payments. You maybe need another payment methods, or even another payment partner for Germany, your online shop. As I said, you need at least another language, maybe another online shop client, or maybe a new online shop, the whole online shop. CRM, new customer group and new language. Your analytics, a new setup for the selling in Germany. Your PIM system, all your articles you have descriptions and titles and everything in German also. And your PIM must have the possibility to send your articles to different export channels with different structure, article data structure. Your AP system maybe needs another channel or another client. Your logistics is good to have a new partner. Your marketing automation, new customer groups, new language. So it's on every part that is included in your e-commerce business, you have to do something new. Let's come to marketplaces. First, I found a few programs that could be helpful for you. For example, this Local Heroes. eBay offers a lot of information which supports you, and you have a free, the first month you have free of charge if you're a new customer for eBay. There's a Quick Start Online program by Amazon. It's in German, but I think you can find it also in English. It's a good knowledge base. Challenges for marketplaces. You have, don't forget that you have not new target groups. So you don't know this new target groups before, so you have to make your experience get to know your customers. There are new sales channels, new marketing channels. The German text ID, as I mentioned, you have to register if you, for example, if you want to sell on Otto.de. You have this to do this, but registrations, and you always have to have a new language. Amazon helps you a lot. There are a lot of information on Amazon that helps you how to add a new target marketplace site. It's a relatively low risk because you don't have to think about a lot of things you have to think if you have your own online shop. For example, this trusted shops certificates and things like that. You can manage your Amazon account by yourself, or you have a partner that manages your Amazon account for you, which could be helpful, but it costs money, of course. You have different programs on Amazon as a vendor, which is the most, let's say, from a bureaucracy point of view, it's the more easy way. But seller on the marketplace, you have to choose between the logistics, if they come from Amazon or from your own, then you have to have a logistics partner. You have to deliver your article data, your product data in a certain structure for Amazon. For example, you have to have HS codes for your articles, which you don't need if you sell only in one country. But you get all this information you need in the internet. Product listings to be found on Amazon. And yeah, the question if you sell from Germany or from Estonia, just as an export. You find all this information on Amazon. This is in German, but you find all this information international in English, how you to add target marketplace sites. Or Amazon Summits, this really well documented what data structure you have to deliver to sell on Amazon Marketplace. The listing, I searched on Amazon for Verici, which is an Estonian manufacturer for cosmetics. And as you see, it's a lot of products from other manufacturers before I get to Verici, because the listing is it's like Amazon is like a search engine, so you have to work on to be in front, to see your products in front. Yeah, there are partners or specialized agencies who helps you with your product listing and with your, yeah. Let's have a look on online shop. What you have to think about: get consent from users. Important, it's the legal regulations in Germany. You have to have a consent manager. If you serve German websites, you always have this overlay or this banner that asks you if you agree that your data is picked by the website, and this is important. You have to have this. You have to have the legal information, privacy policy, the right of withdrawal if you sell online to B2C customers. They have the right to give without any explanation or any reason. They have the right to give the products back, to send them back, and you have to give them the money back. So it's a return, and this is for 14 days. It's an important thing if you sell with your online shop in Germany. Yeah, analytics. The problem is that if the people disagree, it's average. In average, it's about 30%. Depends on products or website, up to 50% that deny the consent manager. So you can't select the data from this, and this makes you it makes it more difficult to improve your online shop because you have less data for your analytics. And it's yeah, the end of cookies. Legally compliant selling. You should sell legally compliant. It's important. The one point I showed already is the DSGVO, which is the GDPR in English, and the German takes it serious. The other point is you have to show gross prices, all prices for all products with tax include. On every point, not only in the checkout, on every point, and on every marketing banner, everywhere, gross prices. You have to have this legal information. And one specialty is the Buy Now button, which means Jetzt kaufen. You have a button with the text on this button is not free. You have to use 2 or 3 variants. You have to use them. And all your information, of course, is you have to have in German. But in this point, there are also partners who can give you service. For example, you get a membership in the Händlerbund, and they write all these legal texts for you and assist you with things like that. Written warnings, like this is the Abmahnanwalt. They assist you in this point. Maybe it's a good idea for, or at least for the beginning, the first 1 or 2 years, to have a membership in this Händlerbund. The other point, as I mentioned before, just implement reviews and certificates. It's technically simple. Payment methods. For some of the payment service providers like Klarna, which is very common in German and they have good prices, you need to have a German company address. So maybe with a partner or the other possibilities I mentioned before, or you just found an office or in Germany. There are some more technical challenges, product information, specific prices for Germany. Not all the shop systems can handle this in their basic features. Sometimes you have to, or you have to choose another shop system which can handle this. But yeah, it depends, every shop system. But you just have to check before if this is possible, if you have specific assortments, different assortments for different countries, specific prices, if you can do these text rules for every country, if you have different languages. and if your payment system can handle different formats and languages. But there are solutions for all challenges. And my advice is, if you build a new shop system, start with an MVP. So start with a simple shop, which is legally okay, but you can sell your products and constantly improve the shop. And for improving, you need tracking, measuring, analytics, and do testing, A/B testing, for example. And the other good news is that shop systems, through the last years, shop systems got less and less expensive and better in technically better and more features from the beginning on. So in the basis have features you can sell products during, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. You can start with to sell products. But what you need, and it's not a technical thing, is your consumers or your customers, they have to have a reason to buy in the shop. So you have to have a certain story why they should buy in your shop and not anywhere else. Maybe you have a very special product which people can buy only in your shop, and you're the manufacturer, and you have the best service or whatever. You have to have an idea, and here's the creativity is more than the capital sometimes. Just a few scenes. This is coming to the last slices. You have your how to start, very easy and very fast. With your online business, with your own website. Maybe you already have a Facebook website, Instagram website, or Pinterest, or your WordPress blog. The most easiest way is to start and to implement a buy button. So it's just a button. You show your products on your blog or on your Facebook website, and you implement a buy button. And this leads to a checkout. For example, you implement the Shopify checkout. You don't need a whole shop system, only use the checkout. And it starts from $9 a month. So you can sell products and use Shopify for $9 a month. And you can sell your products online. Payment provider, you don't even need this part of a shop system. The checkout payment providers also offer just a checkout and a buy button. So you can handle this with really, really easy and fast. The next step, of course, is your own online shop. And then you have to think about a second client, or at least another language. Best thing is to have a German online shop which has its own domain, .de, and then you can, with a modern shop system, you can easily connect marketplaces. For example, they have modules, connecting modules that are ready. You just into 1 day or 2 days, they're ready to connect with marketplaces. For example, deliver the product data to Amazon and get the orders from Amazon, and you can do the order management in your online shop. It's really simple and cheap. The same with Google Shopping, with price search engines, with social shopping. You get this buy button, and the buy button leads to your online shop, and you sell your products there with your checkout. You do your order management in your online shop. One instance for different shops, for the Estonian shop, for the German shop, for other languages, other shops. And if you just add a shop extension, for example, for billing, accounting, and things like that, you have a very, very simple system landscape where you can do online business or start your online business before you grow. And you need, if you grow and have more transactions, you're gonna have come to the point that you need an ERP system for from a certain size on, you want to work with an ERP system. And if you're lucky and you are a new company, you have an ERP system with an API first approach, which is technically modern and can connect directly to marketplaces, to your shop, and to social shopping and things like that. But if you already have an ERP system which is, let's say, a few years old or a few decades old, you have to implement a middleware that connects to your existing legacy ERP system, but modern middleware that connects to all the connections to your different online sales channels. I think that's a few examples, but I think I'm a little bit late, so I can jump over these examples and come to my last slides. How to start. It's a very simple advice. First point is have an e-commerce strategy, and the second point is start today. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Sperling, for this also very, very interesting presentation, very much useful information. It seems very complicated, but you have given very many good advices and who can help the companies to manage all these challenges. So I have a good it's a good feeling.
Thank you.
We also have some questions. You are right, we are a little bit running out of the time. I don't know, can you see the questions in the
yes, yeah, okay.
Can we handle them quickly, or should we let them for the end?
I think this incentives I read already.
So one question is about Amazon labels, if they have to be in German or also in or can they also be in English? And
let's see where to start. I start from the last question.
Yes.
Adding a language version to an Estonian shop, yes, but it's a question of trust. As you saw, the Germans they really trust German shops more than shops from abroad. And if you don't have, for example, a German domain, it makes it more difficult for you to sell in Germany. So I think it's really, it's much better to have an own shop for Germany. Makes
German
it easier.
domain.
German domain, with a German domain. Yeah, you have I mean, one shop instance, technically it's one shop instance, and you have a client for Estonia, you have a client for German, for Germany, and you have use the domain, the German domain for the German shop. It's the best.
But it is possible for a non-German company to register a DA, German domain?
Yes, of course.
Yes, no? Okay.
Yeah.
And so the other two questions about Amazon, or if the labels have to be in German. I think yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not no question of if it's legal or something, but you want you will sell much more if it's in German.
Yes,
so
yes.
we are really not used to have different languages, and it's also a question of trust. So if you see all information only in English, yeah, it depends on your target group. It's all young people that are international and they're used to it. Maybe it's no problem, but as soon as it's a little bit more older people, or it's important to have.
I think it's also a European regulation. It must be a European regulation that you have to provide all the information in the national language. It can be combined. There can be Estonian, English, but also German.
Yeah.
So I think it's a point.
There's some things some points are legally concerned, so you have to, like the buttons and the legal information and the price information, and you have to have it in German. It's no question of if you like, but anyway, my advice is to have all the descriptions and all the information, if it's a question of legal or not, or to have all the information in German.
Yeah. So, and the last question, if you want to do marketing for your products for B2B, should you do it through Xing or LinkedIn, or what other platforms?
Yeah, marketing is another question. We as we started to talk about this webinar, we talked about that it's good to have another webinar for all the online marketing or marketing questions, because it's really a lot of stuff and a lot you have to know, and you have to know about. So it's you could talk hours about online marketing, which is really important. Because you have an online shop in Germany, you have no traffic, and nobody knows your products and nobody knows your brand. So you have to do marketing.
Yes.
And if it's in special for certain products, which B2B channel you use, that's really difficult to answer. So maybe for your products it's good to use Xing, or maybe for other products or for other companies it's less good. But anyway, the point is you have to do marketing, online marketing, and the thing is the same with e-commerce. You have to have a strategy first and then start to do marketing.
Okay.
But you have to.
Yes. Maybe we'll make one more webinar about online marketing, or if I've talked about, but we'll come to it later. I think we have to move on. Thank you once more, Martin. And now I would like to give the screen. Annelies, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for Ralph and Martin for your presentations. I also picked up a couple of things, so always good. For everyone, since I'm actually currently stay-at-home mom, I pre-recorded that one just in case the little one wakes up. But I will be here, so in any case you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or Q&A, and I potentially can even answer them during the presentation because I'm actually not presenting live. Yeah, so let's get to it. All right, let me share. Do you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. I need to do this, and then you should be able to hear.
Good morning. My name is Annelies, and I will be presenting you our company's online activities and our online shop in Germany. So we are a family startup from Estonia, and we offer an organic plant-based water, which is birch water, which is definitely known for all Estonians. Our drinks come in two qualities. We have the fermented quality and the and unfermented quality. And our latest product launch was the jetpack packaging that uses more than 72% of plant-based materials, meaning the cap of the package is also no longer oil-based. And it's instead made of sugarcane. So that's about who we are. And I'd say let's get right down to the nitty-gritty and let's talk about the online shop. We entered the German market with an online shop in November 2018. And I must say it was also not a typical entrance, because we were at the German Höhle der Löwen show, which is, if you know Dragon's Den from UK or Shark Tank in the United States, that's a show equivalent in Germany, which means we got pretty much free marketing at the beginning on. However, as usually, such famous moments only last for a while. So now we can't ride on that train anymore, obviously, but that was very good for the launch at the beginning. In 2019, we had a pop-up shop in Berlin. And now this year we entered retail with Rewe markets. So I'll put together like points or questions that I would think are most relevant for you all. If you have any additional questions, feel free to type them in the chat or ask me afterwards. I'll just hope that I have enough interesting content for you today. If somebody would ask if you need an expensive German digital agency for starting an online shop in Germany, I would say not necessarily. However, you would need to make sure that you can cover the next points either yourself or you have a freelancer or somebody who helps you do that. So what is very, very important is the fluent language. You can't start a shop with kind of broken German. It doesn't look trustworthy for German, and they might look through your shop, they might look through your website, but if they don't feel that this is a trusted trusted shopping place, then they most likely don't purchase with you. So fluent language is really, really important. Even if you have, let's say, a translator in Estonia who has German degree, but hasn't actually lived in Germany or doesn't really know how the day-to-day language evolves, I would recommend you have at least somebody to look over your website who is native speaker and who lives in Germany. Second, very important is of course user experience. I would recommend you go and browse different German web shops just to see like what is typical and what a German user is used to, and try to take over as many learnings as you can from those web shops. Definitely offer popular payment methods, and I must say our website doesn't necessarily do all of that. For example, very popular payment method would be Klarna, K-L-A-R-N-A. It's actually a Swedish offer. Our website doesn't have it yet, so definitely we are missing some conversions because of that. We also did a study among our online customers, and they did say that they're missing a couple of payment methods. But a very, very popular payment method is Vorkasse, which is like a prepayment invoice, or buying on invoice. Make sure you have those in your web shop. And PayPal is also very, very, very popular. And if you don't want to get into legal trouble, make sure you have all the necessary legal information. That will be then AGB, Datenschutzerklärung, Widerrufsbelehrung und Impressum. That would be then privacy policy, returns. Impressum is something very German, actually. You don't have that in Estonia or not any other country that I really know, but Impressum is basically about your legal, your address, who's your CEO, what your contact details are, and what will be the point or a country or a place where if anything legal happens, where would you do the court cases then, basically. But there are templates from trusted shops. I would recommend you take a look at that page. You can also get a certification from there that your shop is a trusted shopping place. And all those legal information things that I've put down there, you can get the templates there. You basically need to fill out a couple of blanks. They ask you questions, and then they generate the necessary information for you. And then it's just copy paste. It's also not very expensive, really. If you just need those templates and you need I think they offer like twice a year seminars, online seminars also about those topics, everything in German, of course. So that costs 49 euros a month. So it's really not expensive, and I would strongly recommend you to make sure you have your legal information intact. Because most important it is that you look trustworthy with your online shop. And yeah, what you might also want to think about, I think I already mentioned it, safe shopping place certification. You can get that from trusted shops. There are, of course, other places as well. We particularly are using trusted shops. And then there is the packaging law in Germany, which requires you to register yourself to the Packungszentrale. That's a Lucid portal, which is LUSID. And you need to register with a packing or trash recycler. So that would be a Green Point, for example. You need to double check if that also goes for your product. I'm quite sure that it does go for all physical products that you sell, even if you sell that with, for example, cartonnage around it. You basically need to declare that cartonnage as a packaging that you brought to the market. It's also not very complicated. You basically just need to register yourself. I'm quite sure you also had an English version there. And for the Green Point, you just need to list down what kind of packages you had brought to the market and how much. Yeah, just double check that you have that done, because you don't want to get in there also into legal trouble. Then depending how much you sell in Germany and to whom you sell, if you sell a B2C client, then at some point you're going to need a German VAT number. I'm not sure about the limit right now. I want to say 17,000 something is the limit for VAT, but not sure currently. We have that registered, and it also wasn't too complicated if you speak German. But I would definitely recommend you get a Steuerberater, which is like a tax advisor, and that's a specific person in Germany who helps you with all kind of tax related, because of course, if you register for VAT in Germany, you also have to do the monthly VAT declarations and the yearly declaration. And you probably also need a representative in Germany, and for that a Steuerberater or the tax advisor will be an excellent choice. Local warehouse and logistics, probably good to have depending on how much your product weighs. If you can ship that from Estonia or any other warehouse you have around or close by Germany, probably not a problem. Our product is heavy, and we definitely need to ship that out from Germany, just to get as small delivery cost as possible. And if you need a recommendation for a warehouse in Germany, I could strongly recommend ours, of course. And German branch office, probably not so needed for an online shop, but for example, if you want to register to a couple of online shops where it's not your online shop, like let's say Amazon, for example, or Amazon similar, because Amazon doesn't really require you have a German branch office, but for example, avocado store, they want to see a German address. And if you want to go further from online, let's say you want to get into retail, let that be Rewe, Edeka, Aldi, whatsoever, you definitely want to see a German address. And for that, you might want to start a German branch office. or go with a wholesaler. Yeah, we are currently starting our branch office, and it's nothing that you couldn't manage, definitely not, but it's a lot of paperwork, obviously. Yeah, other online shops that we are also present are Amazon. We just got our products up there, so it's nothing really good to see yet. It's still a lot of work to do. Then Avocado Store, which is shop for everything sustainable, healthy. So from clothing to food, there's pretty much everything that falls into that category of sustainability. Food is very new, so they also offer some discounts there, but they definitely need a German address. Then we're also one online plastic chains that's just for drinks, and vegan box and etepetite. They're actually box deliverers in Germany, and they have also their own online shop. And maybe a little bit of online marketing as well. Main channels that we use is email marketing, Facebook and Facebook ads, Instagram and Instagram ads, and then we also do Google Shopping, Google Shopping ads, and Pinterest. However, we don't very much use actively Pinterest. It could be used more because Pinterest will be excellent for recipes and stuff. Yeah, we just have to choose where we focus, and so far our focus has been from social channels on Facebook and Instagram. And email marketing, we have been able to generate quite a nice email list, so that list works quite well for for any of our marketing needs. If I might give you a recommendation regarding Facebook and Instagram ads, we had to also learn that with quite high school money. Don't get yourself a agency that can do everything. If you ask for something or somebody who can support you on those points, make sure that they're very specific and niche-y. You might want to prefer what is it called? The natives, the social natives, digital natives, yeah, to help you with those ads. And also with those ads, it's very important that you do them in German and with a fluent language. Yeah, and if you need a agency recommendation, if you're in the area of food, I can definitely give you that as well. I want an agency that we work together very well, and a couple that we're still trying out, and if they prove themselves to be successful, I'm also happy to recommend them. If you try to do your own ads, because you can speak German, excellent. What I can say up front is don't do Facebook ads with just like a couple of €100, because for the pixel you need a lot of data to feed in there. So you definitely need to get thousands of page views and some conversions from there, so the pixel can really understand who's the customer who's going to purchase from you, what is their typical online behavior, and therefore then he or it, the pixel, can find other potential customers for your site. Yeah, I think that will be it from my side right now. Feel free to shoot some questions. I'll be answering them right away, as many as possible. And if you want to contact me personally, then you can find my email address or my phone number there, and I'll happy to share our experiences. Thanks.
So thank you very much. Are you there? Great. So very, very exciting insights. Personal experience, it's always a little bit different because I think each company has to find their own way it's just very different and depends, of course, on the business model, on business, on the product, and many other factors. Yeah, I see we have at the moment no more questions. I would like to use the opportunity to open the discussion with one question. I think we have heard so much information today and so much advices. Maybe you can just think a moment about it. How do you feel now about Germany? What would you say? Do you need some more information? Should we plan maybe some more webinars about specific themes? We have prepared one question for you, Mr. Hübner. Yes. If you would be so kind and give us one more answer via Mentimeter, it would be very nice. So for the future, and so we can see what is the which themes are most interesting for you. Okay. Two people say logistics, online marketing, also social media.
Multiple answers possible, of course.
So I think we have much stuff to think about, and maybe the questions will come later. So I think it's really great that we can we have the presentations, we have the record of our webinar, and you have also said if there are any questions that come later, I could send it to you, and maybe we can answer them also later if they are not present today. There have answered 13 people until now. But online marketing is leading. What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, important topic. Anyway, as I mentioned, I mean, this is the way you get new customers. So it's interesting for everybody, of course. And there's a lot of things you can do even with lower budgets. So like social media and different channels, and you have much more possibilities than just a few years ago. So it's happening something new all the time.
Yeah,
it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. We have now also one question in the chat from Natural Chaga. I would be interested to find an agent too complex for us to handle directly, but we know there is demand and our prices are competitive. And another question. We had that already. So it's the only question at the moment, but it's just a statement or erkenntnis that it is maybe easier to go with an agent or an agency to get some help with many things that have to be considered. But as Annelies has shown, you can try it on your own too. with a little bit help. And Martin, you have shown two. Actually, you can start at a lower level and then
raise your business.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so to start with a small business, it's not that complicated, and you have much less bureaucracy and things like that than if you start on a higher level.
I mean, one big question is, I really liked what Anne explained us from her experience. I think this is pretty much the blueprint to use.
Yeah.
But the big question is, do you want to establish a brand in Germany, like Anne did, or do you just want to sell products? So are you investing in your brand, in your positioning, or is it about to sell only? Because then you can go on marketplaces, and the cheapest online marketing then is so-called retail media. You buy advertisements, different formats on Amazon or wherever, and the conversion rates are way higher. That's way cheaper than on Google, on Facebook, or wherever, because people see where they buy. But of course, this is not brand building. This is not sustainable business, because Amazon owns the consumer, the client, and not you. So, but you can do both, of course, if you have pockets deep enough. But yeah. One hint, Anne, I don't know, did you ever check Food Oase? I think they pretty much fit your target group. Food Oase used to be the largest food online store for vegan and gluten-free products. Do you know Food Oase?
Not yet, but thanks for the tip. I'll check it out.
Based in Hamburg.
Great.
Acquired by Dr. Scher, by the way. Yeah, just ping me. I know these folks. Yeah.
All right. No, but that's right what you say. We were really concentrated on building a brand as well. And that's why that was one of the first reasons we didn't go to Amazon. And partly also, at least a few years ago, I participated in a study about Amazon and how consumers perceive it. So we conducted a study in our master course. And there was a lot of feedback like, we hate the packaging, the extra packaging that comes from Amazon. It's really not sustainable. And they were like really against all the not really fair working salaries that Amazon pays for their workers. So we figured if sustainable people actually not purchasing from Amazon, we probably should not be there. But I feel like it has changed a little bit. Not sure, but we figured we'd give it a try.
That's the question. Can you be successful without Amazon in Germany?
There are examples. I think you can, but as we've seen, I mean, it's more than half of the total e-commerce business. It runs through Amazon.
I mean, if you have commodities, we have established product. Yeah, it's a business decision. But if you want to launch new products and you want to find out quickly whether the consumers like the product, I mean, if you don't grow it on Amazon, it takes you way more effort to find out. If you do not have direct access with your web shop and your CRM database, like Anne was explaining. There are a lot of examples of companies avoiding actively or passively Amazon, of course. But for few customer groups, this is not probably not accounting for Anne's case, but for a lot of customer groups, if a product is not on Amazon, it means it doesn't exist. People, especially younger people, they're immediately checking if you're telling like, have you ever tried that product? And then they're checking, oh, it's on Amazon. Okay, available. I see. Oh, 500 reviews. Okay, good. Check. So if it's not on Amazon, the product doesn't exist. But that's a generic saying now. Of course, you have to check by vertical, by product group. And if you are from Estonia and you bring your a special story, a heritage, I think there are a lot of arguments speaking for not doing Amazon only, but do something different.
Not only, but also.
Yeah, so that would be the perfect thing. Now, a risky thing is, of course, if you start to deliver retailers, dealers, that they are bringing your product to Amazon, and then they control the content and what's going on, and they would answer the questions from consumers, reviews, questions on Amazon. So I would be careful. I would try to control my distribution network here, because then someone else is opening up the Amazon business for you, and maybe also opening up a price spiral going down, you know? So that's something in addition. Control the price. Of course, we know, very difficult topic in Germany, but from a legal perspective, but very important too, of course.
Yeah, very, very good advice. I think there is a lot of stuff to think about now for everybody. We have to close now. We are half an hour over time. I'm a little bit sorry for that, but it's so interesting, and I think it was worth of it for all. Thank you for attending. Thank you very much to all for these presentations, for this input. We will provide everything as agreed after the webinar. And yes, I wish you all a nice day, and maybe we'll see you once more in the future. Thank you very much. Bye.
Would be nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.